Alright, 32A. If you need explanation of this, our longest chain, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to use propane because there's no, there's all single bonds. There's no double or triple. Propane. This is an OL ending, propanol, because of the hydroxyl group here. It occurs at position number 2, so it's going to get 2 propanol. And at also position number 2, we have a methyl group hanging off. So 2 methyl, 2 propanol. Now this is a tertiary acid. Remember, if you have a tertiary acid, it will not undergo an oxidation because it can't, there's no hydrogens to get rid of and form a double bond with. Okay, this one right here, B, look for our longest chain, 1, 2, 3. So again, we get a propane, since there's all single bonds. Propanol, because we've got our functional group occurring at number 1, propanol. Okay, it's a primary alcohol. And then at carbon number 2, we also have a methyl coming off. Okay, so 2 methyl, 1 propanol. Okay, for C, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon chain. Notice we've got 3 hydroxyl groups coming off, so I'm going to use triol. A 4 carbon chain is going to be butane, okay, B-U-T. So I've got butane triol, but I've got to specify just where are these hydroxyl groups. I've got a hydroxyl group at number 1, number 2, and number 4. So 1, 2, 4, butane triol. If we see here, number 1 and number 4, these are primary because they're sticking off the ends, but this hydroxyl group right here, this is a secondary alcohol. Alright, D. This might have thrown some people because we got to remember now that this is a substituent, and I know it is very difficult to figure out when is something, your primary naming thing and when is your substituent. So that's why I'm telling you, circle, 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 label, 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 so I can kind of figure out what you're thinking here, see if you know what you're doing or just sort of guessing. Okay, so my primary chain right here is 1, 2, 3. I've got a propane, 1, 2, 3. This phenyl is a substituent here in this case, so that's why it's going to be given its substituent name. Okay, instead of see, the alcohol is not hanging off of here, so it is not a phenol. It is just a phenyl with a YL group. So the 1 propanol, the 1 comes from the hydroxyl group hanging off of the first carbon, and an OL because that is an alcohol. So 1 propanol. At the second carbon, we have both a methyl substituent and we have a phenyl substituent. Okay, so putting them in alphabetical order, we've got 2 methyl, 2 phenyl, 1 propanol. Okay, and that is a primary alcohol there. Notice here, this is not a benzene ring. There's no double bonds. That's simply a cyclohexane. We're going to start our numbering off at our alcohol group, our hydroxyl group here. This is given priority over the methyl group in terms of naming and numbering. So we're going to number it 1, 2, 3. So cyclohexane is my parent, and on number 1, I have an alcohol. So if you wanted to put 3-methyl-1 cyclohexanol, that would be fine. As a matter of fact, I would do that if I were you, just to just keep consistent with numbering. But again, it's one of those things that's understood that the 1 would be given to the hydroxyl group. But at our level, sometimes, we get a little confused with that. So I would just go ahead and put a 1 right there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 3 methyl, and then 1 cyclohexanol. Okay, that's a secondary alcohol because this carbon is attached to 2 other carbons. Alright, looking at F, we've got our chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's a hexane. You've got a hydroxyl group here, so it's going to be a hexanol. The hydroxyl group occurs at number 2, so it's 2-hexanol. We've got a methyl substituent at number 3 and an ethyl substituent at number 3. Putting them in alphabetical order, E comes before M. 3-ethyl, 3-methyl, 2-hexanol with an O.